Hi, it's Matt here from Go Green Autos. So this here is my own car, a Hyundai Ioniq 28 kilowatt hour, and I've just bought in this MG ZS EV. So the quandary I've got here is, do I sell that or do I swap? So the Ioniq here is a premium SE. These have got loads of kit in them. They're lovely to drive. They are my favourite EV. Let's say favourite EV below £30,000, and I really am still enjoying this car. They just do everything so well. However, the only reason why I'm considering changing is I could just really do with another 15 to 20 miles more range. So let me just explain why. I don't have an issue of the range of the car as such. In fact, these are very efficient, and you get incredible range from a 28 kilowatt hour battery. These do a good 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour better than any other car because of their efficiency. The problem is just CCS charging and the lack of CCS chargers on the motorway network because of the ecotricity chargers. So I frequently drive to London, and I'm driving around the M25 and back up the M40 to Oxfordshire. And my normal stop used to be Beaconsfield Services. So at Beaconsfield there are 3 ecotricity chargers, and only one of them has a CCS connector, but that has been broken, and that pump has now not been working for many months, which causes me a bit of an issue. So the next stop is then Oxford Services on the M40, and there ecotricity have got 3 charging units. The first one is a 22 kilowatt AC charger called a medium charger. That hasn't now been working for probably 3 years. The second one is one of the original chargers, which only has CHAdeMO and AC, so it's no good for a CCS charging car. And the third charger, which has been there about a year now, does have CCS, and that's proved reliable. However, that's one charging station, and every time I pull into Oxford I usually have to wait, and I actually only need a 10-15 minute rapid charge there to get home, but I frequently find myself waiting 40 minutes to get on the charger because there is always queues there, because we're all fighting over one CCS charger. So the next stop from there is Oxford Pear Tree Services. Again, ecotricity, there's a common theme here, and there's one charger there, and that doesn't have CCS either. That's just CHAdeMO or AC. So what I find myself doing is charging on AC, obviously only 7 kilowatt on the motorway network, which I shouldn't need to do. But until ecotricity sort themselves out, or I see at other places like Cobham Services on the M25, there's other brands now going in. Until that happens on the M25 I'm travelling on and the M40, the M40 is proving to be a bit of a CCS black hole, then I thought, why not find a car that just does that extra 20 miles more range, and then in the winter I can do that round trip without stopping at all. So because I sell electric cars, I'm in a position where I can swap and change my cars quite frequently. I've just bought this in, first MG I've had, an MG ZS, again top of the range. This is the exclusive model. Very similar sort of levels of kit, not quite as much as what you get in the Ioniq. These have got a much bigger battery. These have got 42.5 kilowatt usable size, whereas that's 28. These are less efficient, but this will do that sort of 20 miles more range than that will do. And in the winter, that's going to make quite a difference for me for that regular driving to London. So driving a car with that extra 20 miles range, I can do the trip there and back without having to stop and charge. And of course this has got CCS charging as well, so the same sort of problem fighting over one CCS charger on the M40 is going to exist on that car. But of course with this I can carry on, fly past, and I don't need to stop. So that's the only reason why I'm looking at changing. So what do you think? Do I sell the Ioniq, or do I lap it up and just charge at Oxford when I need to? After all, I've been driving 22 kilowatt hour cars previously, and used to doing lots of public charging when I'm doing long trips. But of course cars with CHAdeMO or Zoes with AC generally isn't a problem on the network, because ecotricity have them covered. It's CCS is the problem. or do I switch to the BMW ZS? So the ZS, I am quite impressed with the quality and the feel of this car. It doesn't quite have the same levels of kit as the Ioniq, but it's pretty good. I haven't had this long. I'll do a review in due course, but there's loads and loads of reviews on YouTube. But it's not quite the same quality and feel as the Ioniq. I'm missing the climate control already, but they're a little bit quirky, these cars. But this one does have the newer software, so a lot of the bings and bongs and the annoying things have gone, so it is much better than the original ones. But yeah, it wouldn't feel too much of a downgrade going to one of these, and it is nice to sit that little bit higher. And yeah, they are quite an impressive car, but I do feel like it's a little bit of a downgrade. But of course I'm doing this because of that extra range, but fortunately I'm in that position where I can swap and change cars, and I can always go back to one of those at another time. The obvious choice would be maybe to get the 38 kilowatt hour one of those, and I did have one in recently. I've sold it, and I did seriously think about keeping it, but I don't like the new shape Ioniq. I actually prefer the old shape. I don't like the wheels on the new ones, and I don't like the front end on the new ones. So I'm not really sure whether I actually want a new one. I think if I'm going to change, it's better to change to a completely different car. I also made a video recently about budget tyres, and I was very critical in particular of Chinese tyres, and some people took offence to that and thought I was being racist towards the Chinese and shared the video on social media. Yeah, I go and buy a Chinese car for my own use, so clearly I'm not and don't have a problem with Chinese manufactured goods. I just have a problem with inferior goods. But quite interestingly, this is obviously a Chinese car. It's made by the SAIC Motor Company, and made in China. Yet if you have a look, they fit Michelin tyres on it, so that probably says quite a bit. So I'm going to run the MG for a couple of weeks over this Christmas break and get used to it, and then decide. So which car would you choose if you had a choice between these two? Should I keep the Ioniq or should I keep the M3? Let me know in the comments below, and sometime in the new year you will see one of these cars for sale on the Go Green Autos website. Will it be the blue Ioniq or will it be the red MG?